And welcome into in-game chat for Saturday, September the 23rd of 2023. Season 17, episode 31. I'm Scott, and no RJ. Just got a call. Probably 10 minutes ago. I don't know, 10 minutes ago. It was less than that, or more than that. That had a dead battery. He couldn't make it. So it is a solo show for me today. Getting a lot of me. Even more so if you see the camera. I didn't know what to do. It's so much better when I have two screens on the thing. I can cover. It's just, and I had no time. So you're getting big picture today with whatever. So that's what you get. Nobody's happy about it. Trust me. I'm not either. Anyway, welcome in to the show. If you want to get in touch with us, you can. It's phone number 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at ingamechat. You can also find us on Facebook as well. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We are streaming right now on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv. Type in in-game chat. You will find us there, and you can join in while we do the conversation here. I'll lower the volume here. I'm looking at my levels as far as the stream is concerned. Like, it might be a little loud. So, but yeah, everyone at ingamechat.net is our email address. Then you can also find us on Twitch. Go there. You can also find us on Discord, which we've got. Nobody's in there, but that's fine. And that's live while we broadcast. I shot a few notes out to a couple of folks to see if they would wanted to join in on Discord. Steve being one of them. He's playing Starfield right now, so I don't see why he couldn't. But I also hit up James. I haven't talked to James in a long time. I mean, we've talked, but we haven't had him on the show in a very long time either. He only got, like, the day I got banned from Destiny, I sent him a little clip, the little thing that notified me that I'd been banned. He only responded to that, I think, earlier this week. So the odds of him getting that message are very, very slim. But anyway, welcome into the show, everybody. I got to do this, and so I can sync up the video later whenever I'm doing the editing on this thing. So yeah, anyway, welcome in to the show. Plenty of things to go over. I am still banned from Destiny. I'm not going to always open the show with that, but I should just tell you now that I don't think that's going to change. I don't know when they get around to looking at stuff, if they give you any kind of a message to let you know that they've looked at stuff. I don't know. And so I'm sort of just in the dark, kind of waiting. And that's why I'm saying I'm not really holding on to that. I'm not really waiting for that phone to ring, if you know what I mean. So I'm just sort of, it's moved on behind me, put away. If it comes back, it comes back. See what happens then. Although, right now, it's a little hard to play Destiny because they are under quite a few DDoS attacks. Not sure exactly what sparked that. I'm not sure what a lot of weird things happened. over the week, there was this whole situation where you could modify the guns. They were all broken, and you could put shotgun frames onto assault rifles and all these different perks that aren't supposed to go with different guns. You could totally screw the whole thing up, and it was amazing. The influx of people who were playing Destiny, the participation rose significantly. Their numbers show that so many people were playing due to the glitch, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what the whole thing was, but I think they've gotten some of it under control. But after they did, they started getting hit with DDoS. And so now you're running a gamble of, like, when you play, if you're going to get knocked offline or not, because servers can't handle it. So lots of errors and that sort of thing. Usually at night. I'm not sure about during the day, but it's been having a lot of... I didn't do it. I'm looking at the chat room. It wasn't me. Although I will say, before I was banned, I was going to say the game ran like water. It really didn't, but it ran better than what it's running right now before I was banned. Again, I didn't do anything. Nothing. But, I mean, coincidence lines up, doesn't it? So anyway, let's go to the phones because we have a phone call. Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
Hey, it's Chris.
Hey, Chris.
It's not Chris.
I didn't think it was Chris. I was like, whoa, what the man? I
always wanted to do that.
That's a late hit.
Chris.
That's a late hit for puberty there, Chris. Your voice got really deeper.
I never noticed that, but because I can't hear anyway. But when you look at the thesaurus, Chris equals first caller.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Yeah, so I just used that, and I know you're flying solo. I said, well, now's a good day as any.
It's a fantastic day.
Hey, now that you're not on Destiny right now, have you tried the Road 96 at all?
Well, other than the time that I've put into it, I haven't gone back to it. No, I haven't. Which is kind of sad because when I did lose Destiny, I was sitting in my computer, and that's the weird thing. When I sit in front of the PC, I have a completely different mindset of the type of games I'm looking to play. When I sit in front of the console on the TV, I have a completely, which is odd. I shouldn't, but I do. It's weird. But yeah, that kind of happens. And so I never really think about it. And yeah, I've been trying to find something to, I don't want to say replace that void. That sounds like I lost a loved one, but just something to replace the Destiny pull on my PC. I think I found it. But it is not Road 96, though. I do now own it on PC, though. I got it in one of those Humble Bundle things for the month of September, maybe, or was it August? I can't remember. It was one of them, and I got it. So I actually have that and the DLC, which I will skip.
Well, you've been playing Destiny for, what, 10 years?
Feels like longer, but yeah.
Yeah. I pay attention to the show. I think 10 years.
No, you're exactly right. I have been, yeah.
So 10 years, like you're closing like 20% of your life of gaming has been, kind of Destiny oriented.
It has, yeah. Which is a really weird thing to suddenly lose that. You probably, well, I don't know if you know a thing or two about addiction, but the fact that they have restricted my access to it, I think is...
That makes you want it more?
No, actually, no. I was going to say, I think that's one of the better ways for me to not... Like, there's nothing I can do.
Oh, really? Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right,
yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it. I would have to create a brand new Steam account and then start over fresh.
No, you don't want to do that.
And I don't want to do that for, you put something in for 10 years, I'm not going to start over again. So... In other words, if they had finished the game but kept going or something, and I had said, "Well, maybe I'm just not going to go any further," the temptation to play it would always be there, and the likelihood of me playing it would be great as well, just because I would have the access to do so. The fact that they have stripped that from me, it's as though I'm going on a diet and they've sewn my mouth shut. There's nothing I can do about it. So I just have to accept it.
I don't know, man. Life is short. There's a lot of stuff out there to do other than Destiny.
Totally. I agree with you. I totally, and it's been fun to find those.
Yeah. I think it's the improvement. You need to stop it at some point anyway, and this is one way to do it, the easy way, because you don't have the choice.
That's right. Can't do anything about it. There's nothing I can do about it.
Starting all over again.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I can't even log on to one of the consoles and do it because that account is completely gone, dead. So
yeah. Well, that's kind of like what that cable company did to me when they got in that fight with Disney. And when they got in a fight with Disney, they cut off all the sports channels.
Oh, you're talking about Spectrum?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say the name, but sure, Spectrum.
I mean, it was
owned by Charter.
It was big news, man.
And Disney, ESPN, but yeah.
Especially down here, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I missed one weekend of football. I'm not going to miss another. And I know there's games on right now. I'm following.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and I'm like, okay, well, I ain't going to miss another one. So do you know they don't even sell a normal-sized television anymore? And then this goes to gaming.
What's a normal-sized television?
If you want to buy like a 32-inch TV to play games on, or what, you can't find one. They every TV now is like 80-inch, 60-inch. I'm like, wow, that's big. So anyway, I had to buy a great big TV, which makes it easy for me to read those captions on some of my games that
I would imagine so. I would imagine so. I would say that for the price you paid for whatever you got is probably the same you would have paid for a 32 back when those were in stock. And
hey, when I bought my first 32-inch television, and I don't know, it was some fancy-dancy, whatever, all the bells and whistles, it was over $3,000. I bought a 43-inch television. I ain't got $300 in it. That's the difference between one TV and another TV. But I wanted a smart TV because I wanted to be able to stream all the stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm doing. I'm having a great time with it, too.
Well, good.
Now I'm watching more television than I used to, which is not good. Because I never watch TV. I only watch like an hour of news and then, ball games. That's all.
I don't think there's anything wrong with watching. I don't know about too much TV, too much. I don't know. I know everything in moderation is what they say.
I watch cooking shows. I'm stuck on cooking shows.
I don't. Yeah, no. That's not a bad thing. Every now and again, hit up the YouTube and watch them make something, or especially this time of year, the food channels or whatever are doing the Halloween decoration stuff with cakes and things like that. Yeah, totally. In fact, I crashed out to that last night.
I wanted to say hi. I hadn't called a couple of weeks, and I wanted to do my "Hey, this is Chris" because I'm the first caller joke.
That's fine.
And
by the way, what have you been playing?
Well, I told you about my TV and the cooking shows. Oh, you know what? There's a show called Air Disasters on Smithsonian.
Jesus.
Have you ever seen it?
I know about it. I know it well. Yeah.
Don't watch it if you're ever going to fly again. You will never fly again when you watch it. There are so many things that can go wrong with an airplane. Unbelievable amount of things. And I'm like, wow. But yeah, I get hooked on stuff like that. And but no, I hadn't had time. Well, I did play some. I wanted to say I worked with my PS4, and it is so much better. And I can actually read all the little. But I'd like to play. I'm going to play the show on it. I think I normally do my a lot of gaming. After your show, and in case I hear of a game that I need to download.
Gotcha.
Because I'll go out and hunt stuff. That's how I found Road 96. Now, there's a lot of games that I don't mention because they're not worth mentioning. But that's why I mentioned that Road 96, and some people enjoyed it. But anyway, but maybe somebody will jump in on Discord too.
It's there, and maybe we will get somebody in there. But I appreciate you calling in, man.
And they sound better, and the phones are working, so that helps you out a lot too.
It's all going great.
So just tell Chris now he's the second call.
I'll tell him. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later.
Yeah, that's an expensive first TV. So Looking through, what to play here. I am currently. I picked it up Sunday, and I picked it up late Sunday because I was going through, mulling it over. Like, what am I going to get? Do I want it? Because Starfield was just like Starfield. And so I bit the bullet, and I got Starfield. I had some GameStop credit. Still have some GameStop credit. And I used that. I picked up Starfield. I did not pick up any kind of like mega uber edition. I just picked up the base game. That's all I cared about. And I don't know how many hours it currently says that I put into the game. It's probably up to 5 or 6 now. I haven't even the first planet they put you on. Like, you have a starting planet that really doesn't. I wonder if I can go back to that starting planet, to be honest with you. I don't know. The first place they put you on is some kind of mining thing that you're doing. You're doing some job. You touch an artifact. It puts the story in motion, or at least your main quest, the overarching quest. That puts that in motion. And you get a ship, and they're like, hey, go to this place, talk to these people. They're going to want to talk to you from what you just experienced. Okay. I go up into space. Robot guide with me says, look, we're going to go do this, but we have to deal with these pirate captain people first. They were chasing the guy who previously owned the ship. They're going to come after you if you don't deal with them. So you need to go to this moon and deal with them. Then we can go. These are things that I had already done on the Xbox Series X with Game Pass. I played it on there a couple Sundays ago, put in 4 hours, and got through a lot of stuff in 4 hours compared to what I've done now. Made it to, I guess it's called New Atlantis. I don't know if it's called New Atlantis. But anyway. Nabokov says it is 7.8 hours of Starfield. I put in 7.8 hours of Starfield. This does not count the 4 that I played on the Xbox console. That one was just a let's see how it goes. I was kind of rushing through things. I was following main quests, like, go to this moon. Hey, there's stuff around me, but the, story indicator says I need to go here and go through this facility and do all this stuff, and I did. And once you deal with the captain, it's like, hey, you need to get to your ship. You go into your ship. Then you go to New Atlantis. I guess that's what it's called. Big city, big cool thing. It's real nice. Whatever. PC has been a lot different. I did the same thing doing the story stuff. But when I went to space, first off, it felt better flying around in space. It felt better shooting. Everything felt better on the PC. For me. Mouse and keyboard just works better for me. I'm in space. I blow stuff up. It's time to go to the moon. I go to the moon. And this time as I sit down, I see another ship come in, or as I land and get off my ship, I see another ship come in and land. And I'm like, that's over there. Well, let me go over there. So I go over there. And there's a couple of people at this outpost there. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's some kind of outpost. The ship is there as well. I take care of those guys. I go raid the ship. And I'm like, ooh, I can steal this ship. I don't want to steal it because I still got stuff to do here. But as I open up my map, I see that there are other things around me that have yet to be discovered. Apparently, the way maps work in Starfield is that the more you explore, the more these little things will pop up on your map as you get within a certain distance of them. You're not told what they are. They are just points of interest on the map until you get to them. Once you get to them, they then get a label of, there was a cave I discovered. There was a couple of other research outposts that I discovered. There was a ton of stuff. In fact, this moon, which is called Crete, it's the first moon that you land on, or first planet you land on after you start the game, really. I've discovered or explored 93% of it. And again, in 7.8 hours of playing Starfield. I have not even gotten to New Atlantis yet. I haven't even dealt with the pirate captain that prompts me to go to New Atlantis. I have just been walking around scanning animals, scanning plants, scanning resources, shooting other pirates and taking their stuff and then putting it on my ship and or putting it with my robot companion. whatever the case may be. And it's been great. Like, I haven't even left this space, this first space they put you on, and I'm totally content with that. I was playing today, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take care of this captain thing. I'm tired of it showing up on my map. And I started that, but it was so much different than when I did it on my Xbox. I think when I did it on my Xbox, I wasn't trying to explore. That hadn't settled into my head of like, let's just go and do these things. None of that had settled into my head to do that. And so I'm in this research facility and I'm finding all these different rooms that I didn't find when I was on the console of it. I'm finding these computers I can log into, and there's this whole other story here about how this research facility started, had other things going on during its time here, how it started falling apart, how things started going haywire. Just there's a whole story on these computers that I'm discovering that was never there before. That's just me saying the fact that 7.8 hours, and I'm still on the first moon of a game that has 1,000 planets. I think 1,000. That's a rough number. And they could all be sparse nothing. They could be, but I will walk them. That's, something else I hope is done, that they give you some kind of vehicle. Walking over the terrain that you have it's okay when you're discovering stuff, because you're like, I wonder what's over there. I'll walk to it. It gives you the opportunity to scan other animals, to scan other parts of the planet and that sort of thing. You can do that while you're walking across. Once you've walked across it, though, and gotten there, and you want to go back, no. It's like, give me a vehicle, give me something. You can fast travel to places, but sometimes I don't feel like fast traveling. But for the most part, everything is within an area that any one little place that I've discovered I could fast travel to and be closer to something else that I want to go to, which is kind of nice. But again, I know a lot of people were talking about, these planets, there's like little, there's invisible barriers if you walk so far on the... Fine. I'm totally okay with that, because this area is huge. It doesn't look that big on the map. It relatively looks small, but like once you're there walking among it, it's quite large. And I've been enjoying that. I really, really have. So yeah, that's where I'm at in Starfield. I went through the whole character creation. I can't remember. I don't think I varied it up too much between what I had picked on the Xbox. There's a lot of like the class, I don't want to say class abilities or whatever it is, but some of your background perks that you pick. I was wondering if I would pick something different when I started up on PC, but realized I was just going to go the same route, because some of the other selections lock you out of other things, and I don't like that. I don't like being locked out of those. Now, it may happen where eventually I have to select something that will lock me out. Like, maybe I have to pick a faction to join, and that's going to lock me out of things, but I do have to pick one. Maybe. I don't know. From what I understand, Starfield, Bethesda, the games like this are something where it's like, you don't have to do what we tell you to do. You may be given a choice. You don't have to pick anything. You can avoid the question, or maybe you can avoid the choice. I don't know. I didn't get very far in any Fallout game, and I got even less in Oblivion. And I never touched any more Elder Scrolls after that. So I'm kind of exploring. It's kind of like my first Bethesda game, I guess, as far as this open world type of thing. Anyway, the idea, the lure, the setting of space feels better for me than post-apocalyptic, although there's some aspects of Fallout that I really enjoy, and even more so the medieval stuff from the Oblivion sort of thing. And I mean, in certain ways it works. Like, I like Witcher, right? But I don't like Oblivion or Skyrim, but I like Witcher. So I'm not sure what that's supposed to say, because Witcher's medieval stuff, kind of, and so is the Skyrim, the Oblivion, that sort of thing. But it doesn't pull me in for whatever reason. Maybe I never gave it a chance. I don't know. Reading the chat room here, how many hours in character creation, AC Wraith asks. Not many. Just because I'm going to be playing in first person, who cares what I look like? You know, it doesn't bother me to be really specific on how my character looks because I prefer to play in first person on this thing. Even if I play in third person, I'm in a suit the entire time, usually with a helmet. Who cares? So that part of the creation, not much. The parts where you have to pick your backstory, your skills, all these things, that was a lot of back and forth. That was a lot of, concessions made to like, oh, I'll do this. I really want this kind of a perk, but I don't want that perk mixed with these others that it's offering me type of thing. So for whatever reason, I really wanted the persuasion perk. So I can't remember what I ended up picking because it's been 7 some odd hours in the game, but longer than that since I did this. But I can't remember what I went with title-wise. But I know it came with, I think, persuasion, I think piloting, and maybe pistols? I can't remember. I can't remember. I just know that it can change later, and you can progress regardless, so, yeah, just get some bonuses. What other questions do we have? How are the controls between the two? Night and day better on PC? Nabokov fan asks. Yeah, totally. For me, again, I can't control... excuse me. I really can't do an FPS on console with a controller like that. I'm not even sure I could do the third person with it, but I feel so much better on PC with the controls. Thar66 says, I am doing one of the faction side quest, and it's huge. Going to do the Mantis quest line next, level 12 only. I'm level 4 or 5, and I'm still on the first moon. Thar says, if you like it, you will be playing for a few months. They are that big. I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I put years into Destiny. I can put months into Starfield. Maybe. I'll tell you about that after the break. Nabokov fan asks, Dragon Age Origins versus Skyrim, any difference in preference for you? That's a good question. I got further along in Dragon Age than I ever did in Skyrim. Might have been because we were all kind of playing those at the time, and I was going into I think it was Dragon Age 2 I put more time into. I don't think I did the first one, Origins, and I didn't do a third maybe? I can't remember. I didn't do much of those, though. I did more than I did on the Elder Scrolls stuff, but not much at all. So there you go. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to take this phone call. I imagine it's Chris. I don't know if it is, but whoever is on the phone, please hold. And when we come back from a break, I will get to you. Got music here from the Crew Motorfest, which seems like a, we got Forza Horizon at home, and it's Crew Motorfest. This track is called Perfect Blue. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. He said as he clicked. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is a track called Step on the Grass from a game called You Suck at Parking. That's what it's called. I don't really know much about it. I feel like it's in the title, though, right? You Suck at Parking. It probably tells me a lot about the game. It's a parking puzzle game, maybe? I don't know. I think it's one of the Tiny Build games. I think I have it, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, welcome back into the show. Let's go to the phones. Talk to Chris. Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you?
You find out anything else more about Destiny issues?
No. Open the show with that. Nothing's changed on that end.
No idea, huh?
Yeah, nothing has changed. I am still banned. So
you got the PC version of Starfield, huh?
I did, and I'm enjoying that. Did you? What did you do? What did you do?
I'll probably eventually maybe get an Xbox system and get it on the Xbox.
That's right. You don't have an Xbox.
But but down the road, if I find there's several other games that on Xbox and those type of games, probably wouldn't bother me too much, with the PC, with the controls like that on console. But I really haven't decided if I want to get it or not down the road. I may wait a while, or whenever I get a console, if I ever do get one of the other Xbox consoles down the road, I may pick it up sometime then.
Yeah, that's what that's another thing that I've enjoyed. Something that this is a stupid thing. Mainly because I don't want to say I let it happen to me or something, but like Destiny had this, for me, and I guess the amount of time that I put into the thing, Destiny had this grip of, hey man, if you miss this weekend, I'm going to have a lot more to do next weekend. And if I miss that weekend, I'm going to have a lot more to do that. Like every week I had these things I had to do in Destiny. Not because I would lose the chance to do them, but because every year I had been a completionist about it. And so, my schedule, my regimen, whatever it is, was like, wake up, play Destiny on the weekends, move the needle a little bit, and then so that I don't fall behind. And that feeling, obviously is gone. Starfield doesn't do that. Most games don't. So Starfield doesn't do that. If I wait a month before I go back to Starfield, nothing will have changed. Nobody will have moved ahead of me. Nothing will have come and gone. It'll all be right there where it was, and I can finish it on my own time. And I want to say that you likely could do that also with Destiny. You don't have, but I had put myself in such a position that this is where it was, or how it was for me. And I really should be more clear that all these things that I'm talking about, this was my experience for both Destiny and Starfield, or any other game that I'm talking about. So, but yeah, I'm kind of okay with being done with that.
So which way did you go through getting it on the PC? I heard you said you traded in some credit and all. Did you just go directly and just get a voucher for the digital copy through GameStop?
No, I turned GameStop credit into Steam gift card credit.
Oh, so you got it through Steam, huh?
So I went through Steam. Yeah. Well, I know that the mod community is huge in Steam. I know that or at least will be whenever they open that up for the workshop and everything else. So, that's why I kept it on Steam. So, and I wasn't going to do I still wasn't going to do the Game Pass on PC. I still have not gotten the courage, I guess, to do that, or at least gotten the precaution to do that. By that I mean partitioning a new hard drive, or just buying a brand new hard drive where I can just put Game Pass games on and let it do whatever it's going to do to that thing, should I ever run into a problem with it. And I know it's very minimal, it's likely something that won't happen, but there is the chance that it might. And so that alone just gives me makes me...
It's one of the a very small chance, but you just can't go through it.
It's hard, yeah. It's hard, yeah. Because I don't need to risk it. So I don't. I'm sure it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be, but it's obviously the when you're on a gaming forum, nobody makes a forum that says, this thing's working perfectly for me. And then you get people responding, oh yeah, perfect. The forum threads that you get are, this thing broke on me. And then the responses are, oh yeah, it hit me too, or it hit me. But nobody else usually comes in and says, well, it's fine with me, that sort of thing. In other words, kind of an echo chamber, kind of a situation where all you read is the bad news. And so while it may be a slim chance...
You'd rather not risk that control over everything, if since it may have a bad outcome, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So...
Well, I'd end up beating Final Fantasy 16. I think it was last weekend or in the recent past. I think it was on Sunday or sometime in the last couple of days ago. But yeah, it was a great storyline up throughout the whole game and everything. And, but the ending was like kind of weird. Like it really didn't set in stone what had actually happened. It kind of left it up to your own decision. What you thought had actually happened. It didn't set everything in stone. It kind of lets you.
Really, it doesn't have closure.
Well, I mean, it really didn't have that much closure. I mean, you can pretty well guess, like, you got the lost boss fight, the character ended up on the shore and everything, and from the different things that you've learned throughout the storyline, you eventually, he passes away, he's about to die, he's on his last leg, and he's about to die, and then way later in the future, you see some kids running around, like, everything that you were fighting for with the other people in the game has been resolved, and that's the future, and it did come true, but you don't know what ever happened to the other characters, if what they went through, and it's a blank slate for what actually went through the game, and you really didn't explore on anything else about what happened, the after effects of what you did in the game.
All right, just I don't know if any of that was spoilers, so maybe.
No, not really. I
mean, I have no idea. And by the time I get around to it, I won't remember enough to feel like I've been spoiled on it. So
yeah, even if I told you what had happened, it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, it was
right. But don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you basically beat the boss and this and all, but just like other role playing games, the different things, the events and the story and everything was different, for other role playing games. But it was the ending and everything was kind of a little bit odd, like half and half. They wanted to go this way and tell you what happened, or it was just, it was just weird.
All right.
But now I decided to pick up and start playing Elix 2. That was another sequel to a role-playing game I played on PlayStation 4. So
I'm familiar
I've had a used copy of it for a while, and I decided to put it in the system and start getting into that one. So that's what I've been playing so far now.
I'm familiar with the name of it. I don't know that I ever played it, but I am familiar with that. So. Well, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you'll call us again next week and let us know how you're doing with it.
So you didn't got hooked on Starfield, at least like that. I guess the space features and stuff what pulls you in the most of that type of game, huh?
I think so. I think so. The best I can do, maybe, I don't know, but I think so. Every preview video I've seen from it and everything else just sort of had my attention. And I was very excited for it. So I'm excited to play it. I do enjoy playing it. It's one of those things where even today, time got away from me because I was playing it because I wanted to see what was over that ridge, or I wanted to say, well, let me just explore this area here, or let me just take out all the guys that are at this research facility here, and I'll stop and save. But then when you do that, you're like, okay, well, let me go back to my ship and dump all this stuff that I've collected so I'll be ready when I play again. You do that, and you're like, well, I'm now close to this, so let me go over here and do that. It's just this one more thing to do, and time dilation is just really weird for when you're doing that.
If you love the old fantasy, feels like, the fantasy-style games like, the other ones that Bethesda has done as well. If you like those type of games, they're basically exactly the same, but the storyline and the aspect of what's going on, like this one's space themed and everything, and the other one's fantasy, the other one's medieval, and like Fallout, there's all different scenarios, but the actual core gameplay is exactly the same throughout all their games. So if you get hooked on one and you think you might like the other, you can check into it and check it out and see. But they all have the same core gameplay that you're getting hooked on.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. And I'm going to talk about what I've got planned for, I don't know, how this is all going to run together for me and what my lineup's going to be as far as gaming's concerned. So I'll be talking about that. But I appreciate you calling in, Chris, and we will talk to you again next week, buddy.
All right, y'all have a good one then.
Take care, babe.
Bye-bye. All right, bye.
We've got Oh, nope, that's the wrong button. Hang on. It's this one, I think. Josh, you there?
Oh, hi there.
Hello. Unfortunately, we've got about 8 minutes for the top of the hour here. Are you good for the coming
Sure.
next segment and stuff like that? Okay, cool. I'm going to leave you potted up here, so if you want to just chime in with anything, go right ahead. But what I was getting at with Chris, as far as like what my schedule is, I say what my schedule is. There is no schedule. But when I think about gaming now, because normally it was like, I'll be playing Destiny. I'll play that other stuff some other time. It's not the case anymore. So I got Starfield now. Starfield will take me into, I think, Spider-Man 2 on PS4, I believe, or PS5, because I believe that's October. And then Spider-Man 2 will push me into City Skylines 2, which is late October. City Skylines 2 will likely take me through the rest of the year if I really want to go there. But that'll take me to the next... Oh, there's Steve. That'll take me into Assassin's Creed Mirage, is it? The new Assassin's Creed? Which I'm looking forward to that more because they have taken away some of the open world elements to it, kind of streamlined it a little bit better, which means it won't be such a massive undertaking to play an Assassin's Creed game anymore. If you just heard what I talked about with Starfield, where I have this open area on one single planet that I have spent 7 hours exploring, you can imagine when they give me something like Assassin's Creed, and I just want to disregard the main quest and explore all of this other stuff. It's just the thing that I do. So I'm glad they've streamlined that. That'll take me into there. After that, it's kind of wide open which way I go, because I'm still looking into Baldur's Gate 3. And I know I talk about the medieval setting, but that's more of like a fantasy type setting. But then again, I don't know. Just Oblivion never did it, nor did Skyrim. They never grabbed me. Baldur's Gate looks like it'll grab me. I've enjoyed what I've seen of it, and I'm very, very interested in it. And then there's Cyberpunk, which I never touched. And everything that I have read, everything that I keep reading about not only the DLC that's coming out, Phantom Liberty, but the update to 2.2 or whatever it is that the game's getting is just an amazing experience that is going to benefit a lot of people who never touched the game prior to this, or at least is going to make it so much better for people who did and maybe put it aside, or even if they went through the thing, they can enjoy going back and enjoying the new quality of life elements and everything else that they've done with this. It's apparently a massive, massive jump, not only in quality of how the thing looks, and let me talk about how the thing looks. Man, came across Digital Foundry's video last night of them exploring the DLSS, I think it's 3.5 for that game. It was amazing. I don't know that I got the equipment to take advantage of it, but it looked spectacular. And Cyberpunk right now is kind of, tempting me away from Starfield a little bit. It's kind of looking at me like, hey, we got stuff over here that's like pretty neon and cars and guns and things. It ain't space, but it's still cool. And it's really tempting me to do it. But it's, like I said, 7 hours in Starfield already. I'm only on the first planet. So I'll get to Cyberpunk when I get to Cyberpunk. But I will get to Cyberpunk and Phantom Liberty. Kind of curious if right now the main game is on sale for like $35, but I was doing some history searching for price history on that thing, and it has been as low as $29 on Steam. So I think, we got the big Steam sale coming up, but that's around Christmas time. I know they do some others in between, like they'll do something around Halloween, then they'll do something around Thanksgiving, the big Black Friday sale, and then they'll do their holiday sale coming up around Christmas time. And I'm going to be kind of curious as to where that can go. Normally, I try to avoid buying games at any point during this time because they're going to get discounts, but I'll probably make quite a few exceptions in doing that. So,
well, Cyberpunk had a reason to be very cheap for a while.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Because nobody was playing it, or at least the people who were having a horrible time with it, and it was getting horrible reviews. So you're right. Yeah, it had justification for being that cheap. But I think it'll drop again. I think it'll hit 30 maybe. We'll see. But are you playing that, Josh?
I played it on release, and I haven't touched it since. So I'm waiting for the update and the DLC to give it another chance eventually.
I was about to ask if you have any interest after the DLC stuff and even just the update, even just the 2.2 or whatever it is update that they're giving the thing. I was curious if you were going to be jumping back in.
No, maybe. Not for certain. I have enough other games in the pipeline.
Steve, what about you? You there?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, buddy.
Sorry, I missed your message. It would have been the perfect opportunity because my wife and kids were out and they literally just got home 5 minutes ago. So I'm not sure.
Oh no.
We're coming up on bath time, but I thought I'd just come in because I saw you solo. It looks like someone's been helping you hold down the fort a little bit, and I saw you were playing Starfield, so I thought I'd pop in and see how that experience has been. But I've been listening. And it sounds like you're 7 hours in and just moseying on through.
Just on Crete.
Whatever it is.
I'm only on Crete. I haven't left Crete.
Oh, man.
7 hours on Crete.
Oh, man. I think I spent 7 hours designing my ship yesterday.
See, I haven't even gotten to that. In fact, I was trying to muddle around with my weapons out in the area there. I can't remember what I did, but I pressed a button and suddenly I was in outpost building mode, and I was like, whoa, where did this come from? Why do I have these towers I can put up, or all these different, and I backed out of it before I fell down whatever rabbit hole that was going to lead me into, because I was nowhere near ready to do that.
Well, I've dug my heels in that a bit, and I'm finding it hard to find the worth in doing that at the moment. So there doesn't seem to the game's economy doesn't really set you up to the inventory system doesn't either, because to get the stuff that you need to even build an outpost, you have to be running around making sure that you either have it in your ship or on you, and it becomes a mess after that. But yeah. I don't understand the point of the outposts right now. You can link them together and you can mine materials, right? Kind of like No Man's Sky. But after you have the materials, like what do you do with them? Like, what do you need more materials for? You don't need materials to build a ship. At this point, if you have enough materials to make all these outposts, you don't need money. So what am I doing with the outposts exactly? Aside from assigning people there, which again, no benefit for me. It's just that I can expand my team. I don't know.
Yeah,
it seems to be one of the. I mean, you can do. I mean, base building's fun. It was always fun. It was fun in Fallout 4, but I don't. At least in base building, there was easier ways to. In Fallout 4, you could customize it better. Like in Starfield, unless I haven't seen it, you can't move objects a certain access to like if you have a bookshelf.
Yeah.
You can't move objects to be stacked on a bookshelf as you would expect them to be. Like you can only do it a certain way, and that's how they fall after you drop them out of your inventory. Same thing with anything else. Any other, things you buy or find that you want to like put on your desk, or you can't hang things. Like it's really odd that you have all these things to kind of customize, not just your outposts, but your houses that you can buy.
Yeah.
But they don't give you the full, customizable way to do it.
Yeah, I know.
It's really weird.
I've heard of things like it's not something that has plagued me just yet, because I haven't come across any of that. I haven't had to deal with any of it yet. I know it's coming, but I'm hoping maybe by the time it gets there, or by the time I get there, that something will be in place, or some better way of doing things. I know you're avoiding mods for the moment because you want that.
Vanilla.
Yeah, that sort of raw experience of the game itself. So I don't know if I'll be doing that, actually, because I know mods can. One of the first things I did on Witcher 3 was mods, because I was playing on GOG anyway. I wasn't playing on Steam, but I still found some fantastic mods for inventory and all sorts of stuff. So it's probably something I'll do down the line, but I haven't really run into that sort of issue just yet with Starfield. Let me ask you, Steve, while you're here, I know you got to go, but you've got Cyberpunk. Are you jumping into the DLC, or are you jumping back into the game with the update?
Yeah, I am. So my end of my year is pretty much pre-planned with between the games that are out, like Starfield, that Cyberpunk game, and then City Skylines in a few weeks. Those 3 games alone will probably occupy most of my end of year. So I'm gonna have to put off, Baldur's Gate till 2024.
Perfectly fine.
I think I said this to one of my other friends. I think 2023 is become like a landmark year in games. Like,
Massive.
I don't think we've seen these kinds of releases for quite a while. Like maybe the early aughts. But it's been an excellent year for games, and there's just not enough time to play them all.
We have been eating well, my friend. So I appreciate you jumping in for us. I know you got to run, but I appreciate you stopping by, man.
Yep. No, I wish I saw that earlier. I would have come in. I don't know if you were starting the show without RJ, but I'll keep my ears open next time if that happens.
I appreciate it, man. Take care, and I'll see you online.
Take care, Scott.
Yep. See ya. All right, we're going to come back. We've got Josh still here with us, and when we come back, we'll talk to him. We'll go through some of the news here, or we'll go through what he's been playing at least, and then talk about some of the news because I don't know. There was a big leak from Microsoft. It's old, but it was still interesting to get some insight into their thinking and stuff. But we'll talk about that and more. It's all coming up on In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Myth Force. It's a Saturday morning 80s cartoon style something. But anyway, here's the main theme. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back into In-Game Chat. Music from Lies of P, which released this week, I believe. I think this track is called Let There Be Flame. Lies of P is basically a Pinocchio. A Pinocchio Dark Souls, which is an interesting sort of combination. I saw reviews of it, and first off, the reviews are coming back pretty good. Like, yeah, we know it is imitating, it's mimicking or imitating, borrowing, whatever you want to call it, stuff from Dark Souls and Bloodborne and all of those type of games. But apparently it's okay, because the reviewers saying, yeah, we know it's pulling from here, but they're doing it so well that it's working. A lot of times you have imitators and they just can't live up to the originals that they're trying to imitate. But apparently Lies of P is doing it pretty good. And I will give them the creativity on the boss fights, or at least the boss designs, are really kind of neat. Some of the character designs in that thing are really cool. I like the clockwork type aesthetic to them, wind up automaton type things. I really, really like that. Lies of P is kind of, it's something I'm looking at for way down, bargain bin. I've played everything else. Let me see what I can do with this. Because I really liked Bloodborne, but I didn't go very far into it. Because I enjoyed the aesthetic of what Bloodborne offered. And I think I like what Lies of P is showing off too. So, plus some of the weapon crafting on that looks really kind of cool. So, it's on Game Pass. Thanks for letting me know, Lethal Migraine. I might check that out. It is on Game Pass. AC Wraith says, some are saying Lies of P is the PC Bloodborne that people have waited for. That's a good way to put it, actually, since there is no Bloodborne on PC. That's a great way to put it. So we are here, and Josh is hanging out in Discord with us, so he is on the phone, as you could say. Josh, what have you been playing?
Quite a few things. I played Remnant 2.
Yeah.
I had a good time with that so far.
I heard that was a lot better than the first one, or at least they did a lot of good quality of life improvements on it.
Oh, absolutely. It's a night and day difference between the two.
Yeah.
It's a lot more engaging. And also, it's been a hot minute a game in that style had any kind of puzzles in it that were actually difficult to figure out.
And
it really rewards exploration and trying to figure things out for the various puzzles you have in each level.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many hours you put into it?
Not so far. It's not so many yet. I think about 20.
Okay.
Because then Baldur's Gate 3 came along.
Right, man. I guess we haven't talked to you since then, have we?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I figured you would be playing that. I mean, God, you've talked to us about some of your D&D sessions that have just been ongoing and sort of thing, and I feel like Baldur's Gate is sort of, and you will likely mention this when you talk about it, but it's basically a nice, one of the better or best digital representations of D&D, I suppose, is a good way to put it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with D&D 5, which is the current edition.
Yeah.
I play Pathfinder, so that's a bit of a difference, but from what I can tell, it's pretty much the closest thing you'll get right now to a video game version of a D&D session.
Right. How much have you put in? How much time have you put into that? I mean, what's your experience like?
Quite some time, but funnily enough, I'm not very far because I'm currently running like 3 different playthroughs with.
What? So you have 3 different saves.
Yeah.
With 3 different characters doing 3 different things. How are you trying to keep them at the same, like?
A little bit, yeah.
Save 1, you move into this area, and then when you move into that area, you stop, go to save 2, get to that same area, stop, go to save 3, get to that. I mean, how are you playing, how are you juggling the 3?
A bit like that. I have one save where I tricked the game into giving me 4 custom characters to play by myself. Usually you only get 1, and then you have to go with the NPCs the game gives you.
Okay.
Then I have a co-op campaign with a friend.
Right.
And then I have a campaign with a special character you can pick at the beginning of the game that's like the quote-unquote evil playthrough.
Oh, yeah, those are fun. Those are fun.
So, yeah, those are the 3 campaigns I'm juggling right now, and basically I'm always waiting to play how far I get with my co-op buddy, and then I get the rest to catch up to that.
That's interesting. Okay. And so how far into it then? I got how many hours, did you say?
About 30-ish right now.
Right. And that's overall between playing 3 different characters.
Yeah, and
okay.
All are still very much into the beginnings of Chapter 1.
Wow.
So Chapter 1 of 3, so it's not that many chapters.
And when did you start doing this? When it released?
About a week after release.
Okay.
I didn't get it right away. I waited for reviews first and wasn't quite convinced at first, but then more and more people I knew were starting playing it and raving about it.
Well, given the time you put in, I mean, obviously you're enjoying it, I guess. Good stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. It also rewards being a little bit more creative with your problem solutions.
Yeah. I've heard that you basically, I mean, or I've read or I've seen little tidbits about the game and sort of thing where basically if you can think of doing it in, I don't want to say real life or anything, but if you can think of doing it in the pen and paper aspect of it, that you can kind of put that same thought process into this version of it as well. You can, if you think of something that it's like, you know what, this should work because, I can't get through the door. Is the door made of wood? Burn it down. Can I burn it down? Yeah, sure, you can burn it down. Something like that. Yeah,
exactly. Stuff like that. And the game also strikes a nice balance between sticking to the rules of D&D and also being a video game and thus making some things more fun than the D&D.
Yep.
Changed some things around, how some spells and interactions work. And also a fun thing I heard from Wizards of the Coast, that a lot of more people apparently are using the shove action from the game in their D&D campaigns now.
Well, I don't know what that...
Yeah, basically, you can shove enemies off cliffs and stuff like that in the game.
Oh, okay, I got you.
People have been playing the game, and now they are all trying to shove enemies in their home D&D game.
I see what you're saying. Is enemy standing near a cliff? Yes, okay, I shove. And then pushes him off. Gotcha. That's a neat little way to look at things. What have you been playing? Anything else? You got Remnant 2. You've got Baldur's Gate 3. Anything else you've been going through?
I started playing Synthetic 2 recently.
Okay.
That's still in early access, but I had a great time with the first one. And the second one is now currently at a state that's actually playable, I'd say, and also has co-op working now as well.
Good.
And that's like a very hypertension-inducing roguelike.
I'm not sure. It sounds very familiar. And I want to say it only sounds familiar because I think I came across it when I was looking up music for whatever, trying to find music or trying to find when games released that I would have music. And I think that may have come up, but
yeah, it has a good soundtrack as well.
Yeah.
It's like you can find weapons that have different manufacturing bonuses, kind of like in not Baldur's Gate, in what's the game with the billion guns?
Borderlands?
Borderlands, yeah. It's kind of like the manufacturers in Borderlands, and you have your random runs, you get the modifiers, you can get upgrades for your guns and for your class, and it's a isometric twin-stick shooter, basically.
Okay, I know what you... Okay, yeah. Tell me that helps.
And it's kind of sci-fi, cyberpunk-y in design.
Well, and those games are great that you're playing. You're going to be jumping into Cyberpunk as well at some point. You're picking up the DLC, or are you just going to play the new updated stuff?
I'll look into when the DLC kicks in and might just play up to that first and see how it is.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how far you would stop playing, because the things that I've read were that, look, if you've already played through the campaign in there, you can enjoy Phantom Liberty as is. You can go through, and they said, however, if you've only gotten a certain way through, or if you've not played yet, then it's fantastic to start now. And they, for whatever reason, they keep recommending you create a female V, and I don't know what any of that means yet because I haven't gotten into the game to know what the lingo of all that stuff. I don't know what any of that means, but I know.
No, that's just basically that you make a female character to play.
that seems to be the way you want to go with it. I don't know why, but they heavily urge you to do that. And so I guess that is likely what I will do whenever I get around to Cyberpunk. So,
yeah, my latest save game in the game is right before the game tells you want to make sure to do stuff now because after this is the point of no return.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm pretty much at the end.
Will you start over?
I probably might.
Yeah, you seem like a guy that might, who's running 3 different characters on one game and only playing that. You seem like a guy who probably would be like, sure, I don't care that I put how many hours you put in Cyberpunk so far?
Oh, I don't remember how much that was.
But it doesn't matter.
Was also quite a bit.
It doesn't matter. I'll start again. It's fine. I don't know. It's tempting to start again considering this update just really like a brand new game.
Yeah, also it's been so long and they changed so much about the skill trees.
I would imagine.
From what I remember, I put a lot of points into crafting and basically there no longer is a crafting skill tree in the game.
Oh, wow.
With the new update, so I don't know how that will even look like.
I haven't even, I've come across some crafting tables and stuff in Starfield yet, but I haven't touched them. First off, I have no idea on my materials. Like, I haven't been... And I don't know if the game does this or not. I know that it has when you're following... When I was playing on Xbox, I know that it would give me kind of tutorial type stuff. Like, here, you should pull out your scanner and scan these things while you're doing this. Or this is how you can assign your weapons to your weapon wheel and all these different things. They would come with time as I played through the main quest line of Starfield. And granted, I didn't play very far into that main quest line when I was playing it on Xbox. But I noticed when I was playing it on PC, because I did not follow that main quest line, like it's like, hey, go to that research facility. I'm saying, no, I'm going to go over to all these other places around here. None of those prompts came up. None of that stuff came up to tell me how to switch and how to do guns and how to do this or how to... all these different things that it takes you through. So because I'm coming across these crafting tables, I haven't jumped into any of those either because I figure at some point the game's going to show me how to do this and I'll be more prepared. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing. Already there's a lot of things that I don't know what I'm doing. I just learned how to do scanning because, again, I wasn't following the main path of my quest. So... had I done that, it would have done that, but I felt like exploring, and so it's been a lot of fun doing that. So I'll get around to Cyberpunk at some point. I will get around to a lot of these games at some point. I do not want to.
Yep.
Yeah, like what I don't want to do is put a bunch on my plate, and I've never wanted to do this. I've never wanted to put too many games on my plate because of the. I feel like there's finite space available in my brain to remember controls. And I
know what you mean.
I know, right? And I'm afraid, like phone numbers, I'm afraid I'm going to get too much in there and lose one and be like, oh, God, now I got to figure out how to do this thing all over again. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with Starfield for now. And then when October comes around, I'll be like, yeah, do I want to jump into Spider-Man or do I want to jump into City Skylines? We'll see which way that goes. We are already coming up. We are already on the break here, and I still haven't gotten into everything that I wanted to get into for this one. Amazing. I can be by myself and still ramble enough not to get to any news. I gotta fix
Perfect.
That. I know, right? Hey, Josh, you gonna hang around?
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We are gonna come right back with Josh, and we're gonna hit the news this time. No more, what did you play? What are you playing? We've done that. We're gonna hit the news. We got music here from Mortal Kombat 1 that released this week, I think. I think this is just music from the demo. It's apparently the music that plays when you're on the stage of Johnny Cage's mansion, I suppose. It's called Cage Mansion. Anyway, we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back in to In-Game Chat. Music from the game Party Animals, which is a nice party game with you playing as animals trying to beat each other up. But you look like people in animal suit type things. I don't know. It's fun, funny, that sort of thing. Josh, did you? I knew we were going to jump into news. I was going to ask if you had seen. Did you see the? Did you see footage of that DLSS 3.5?
No, not really.
Okay. Digital Foundry did it, and it just within the first, I don't know, 5 minutes of the video, I'm looking at this, and it looks like, I don't know if you remember, but I don't know how long ago it was. I'd see videos of these insane-looking mods on like GTA 5 or GTA 4 that just made it look just stunningly beautiful. And textures and all these other things. I don't know what I can't remember what it was called. What some of the mods were for these things, but like you really needed a beefy rig to run this thing. But this is not a mod; it's just the game itself, and it's just the DLSS 3.5 of the NVIDIA cards doing this. And I'm really, man, it looks good. Let me see. I tell you what, I can post it into the. And I will do that now. There it is. Let's see. Copy link. Okay, I'm going to throw this into our on-air chat. We can get an idea of it. If you want to take a look at it, that's up to you. But it looks amazing. And so you're in for some... And I know, still tempting for me to possibly... I still have credit from GameStop. And so I could still possibly do this on PC. I don't know. I don't want to because I'm in Starfield, but it's tempting. It is very, very tempting. By the way, Party Animals is on Game Pass as well if you've got Game Pass. Lethal Migraine keeping me up to date on that. So, jumping into news. Now, something that, again, Lethal Migraine mentioned in the chat was that Payday 3 is on Game Pass. But apparently, Payday 3 is getting raked over the coals as far as the Steam reviews have been. It has been mostly negative is where the Steam reviews are hitting because apparently the servers are just being horrible for some reason. Steve's back. Hi, Steve.
Hey, I had a few extra minutes.
Do what? What's going on?
No, I just had a few extra minutes before my kids go into psycho mode. So
okay. Well, we were talking about. We talked about Did you see the video of the DLSS 3.5 for Cyberpunk?
I did. That's kind of why I jumped in, and then you talked about Payday 3 as well, which I also played the beta for. Right before it was released.
I loved Payday 2. I really loved Payday 2.
Huge fan of Payday 2.
Yeah, Payday 3 is getting horrible reviews. Apparently, the launch week server headaches for people. The most frustrated are those who don't even want to play the co-op online. They just want to play single player with the bots, and they're still having to wait in servers to do that.
That's weird.
Yeah, apparently server problems it's not going great for them.
Yeah, I just went to the page after you mentioned that, and yeah, mostly negative, which I don't think I've seen on a release like this since that, was it Redfall?
Yeah.
Was that the game that
God
that was a disaster?
Yeah, and also Bethesda. But yeah, it was Redfall as well who had to suffer from that. So yeah, it's not doing great there. I mean, there's easily room for improvement there. So I'm not writing it off yet. Payday 3 is something that is, should it get fixed, way down the line on like, hey, I'm going to be picking that up type of thing.
Yeah, I played the beta for a good day, and I was surprised at just how Payday 2-y it looked. Like I'm wondering why there is even a Payday 3, right? Like that, because Payday 2 has been basically riding. You could call it a game as a service, but they've been releasing a million updates to that game, almost like what City Skylines does. And but everything that they release is like a new map, or sometimes they'll have like themed characters like John Wick that you can play as, which is really neat. And I don't recall if that you're buying the character. I think it comes with like a pack where it's like the John Wick thing where it comes with extra levels and everything. It's not just like you're buying a single thing.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, nothing stood out to me like, whoa, I need to get Payday 3 because it's all brand new and it looks great and looks different. But I played one of the bank heists and it almost resembled exactly like Payday 2. Exactly. You know, I had to get some thermite and drill a hole, and you can case the place, you know, early with cameras. Don't be seen. Don't be suspicious. Don't pull out your guns.
Right.
Don't put on your mask. And then if you want to go loud, you can go loud. But yeah, this is a game that was gonna, because I usually try to play like a single player game, which right now is Starfield, and then have a multiplayer game also that I can just hop on and do. And this was supposed to be my multiplayer game right now, except my Starfield has literally consumed my multiplayer time, so I didn't want to pick it up yet. Yeah. But I'm actually kind of surprised about the if it's just server stuff, like you said, it'll figure it out. But rough launches are hard to kind of come back from. It's going to take a while for good trust to be built back up before people will be, you know, more inclined to buy it.
Yeah, no, totally get that, and that'll get there. But like I said, it's just not on my radar considering everything else that is coming out there. I wanted to jump into some of the news stuff here. I mean, something that we talked about last week was Unity, and they have pretty much walked back all of that stuff that was just horrible. Their new policy and everything else.
I read about that.
Yeah, they've apologized for it. They also announced that they will no longer force developers into that fee structure for the current version of its Unity software, but did say that the fee will apply to future versions of the engine should a developer choose to update. However, people using Unity Personal won't have to pay at all, which is the free version. And some developers can use that. There's a restriction on depending on how big or how much your revenue is before you're allowed to use that sort of thing. But I don't know that it's going to fix anything. I think probably the damage is done. And as soon as people are able to jump ship off of Unity, I think they probably will. If they are able to, I think they will get out of that. Just, I don't know how well it'll be. But
yeah, it's one of those things where you fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. Or no, wait, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. But like, it's a hard thing to win back if you're using Unity, and it's like, well, what are they going to try in the future? Like, what are they going to? This is great that they're walking back what they just said, but can I rely on them? 1 year, 2 year from now, that they're not going to do something shady like this? And then I saw there's another completely different developer that pledged like support for alternatives to Unity by like donating a ton of money.
Yeah, I
think it was the was it Terraria developer?
Very likely, yeah.
I think they donated like $100,000 to an open source engine as like a response.
Also had a bundle for Godot. That's also some kind of game engine.
That's what AC Wraith in the chat room said. Yeah, he said AC Wraith in the chat room says, "Too bad many devs walked away from the point they walked back to already. I've been walking to Godot, Gadot. That is something I haven't heard of that engine before, but." Apparently it's out there and people are starting to walk to, or, kind of move over towards that for whatever they're working on. But yeah, like I said, I don't think Unity can fix this. They can't unring the bell, basically, is the problem here. What else do we have in news? We had the Dead Space creator, Glenn Schofield. He left the Callisto Protocol studio.
Yeah.
He's quit that. Which is fine.
Was he quit though?
Huh?
Did he quit though?
Well, he didn't. Well, he left the studio. He's no longer with that studio. He wasn't. I don't think he was fired. I think he left.
I don't know. This is a bummer because it just means that if they do decide to expand Callisto, he's not with the team anymore. So we're going to get like water. In my opinion, what usually happens with
I don't know that they're going
to.
I don't think they're going to expand on that because of the fact that it just did not do too well. I don't necessarily. In fact, I would think that's probably why he's leaving, because maybe the company said, "Yeah, we're not going to expand on this, sir. We're going to move you on to something else." And he's like, "I'm going to go." Maybe, I don't know. I'm just throwing that in there that I know the sales for that were bad, reviews for that were bad, so I don't know that they're going to be doing any more with it.
Yeah, I gave it a negative review on Steam, but I really enjoyed kind of that universe. There was things that they could have done also better at launch. Like there was a couple of things that plagued them at launch, just like what Payday 3 is going for. Like there were some rendering issues, like performance issues that caused some stuttering. So that turned people off, and it was just they said from the beginning they wanted it to be like a cinematic feel, like as you play through it, kind of like the Uncharted games, where it almost feels like you're watching a movie with some of the way action plays out.
And I think in some aspects they achieved that.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. But it kills replay value,
right? Because
you have to sit through every single one of those long cutscenes. Again, there was no skip. You couldn't skip them. They added that in later as an update, but like they changed their mind right when their customers start getting angry. But there's just little things like that, like where it just doesn't make you want to like replay the game or have any other experience with the game if you're gonna kind of too much control over like what you want your audience to be, rather than having your audience kind of tell you how the experience is for them.
No, I totally get it. I mean, I completely understand it. It's just that, people, oddly, it feels like people who are way out of touch are making those decisions. I don't want to say way out of touch, but aren't, likely people who don't, all they're looking at are numbers on a piece of paper to say, does this survive or does this not? Rather than look at, here's the potential of making this better and helping it to survive long term, I suppose. I don't know, but
it's a quality of life thing that like most 99% of all games have the ability to skip cutscenes, because people don't want to sit through them again. Like if they're on the second or third playthrough, and there was multiple playthroughs of that game that they forced you to do. It wasn't like you could put it on the hardest difficulty from the start and beat it. You had to beat it regularly, then unlock the next difficulty, unlock the final one, do a new game plus, and then do the new game plus with the hardest difficulty. Like it kept going after that too. I think there was even 2 more modes.
God.
They wanted people to replay this game, and they just didn't, make people have a nice time doing it.
Well, something else that was announced this past week, seemingly just Division 3 out of nowhere. Ubisoft announces Division 3. I mean, I didn't know they were done with Division 2.
I didn't know they were done with Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because that's the telltale sign right there. Because Massive is working on the Star Wars game, which is probably number 1 anticipated game in my timeline right now.
That is the
future.
Oh God, what is the name of that thing again?
Oh, I forget.
I do too. I have no idea, but it's that single player Star Wars game, right?
Yeah, it's Outlaws.
Maybe. Yeah, sure. We'll call it that. I know what you're talking about. It was revealed at this past summer and had some gameplay with it that I enjoyed what I saw so far of it. And that is Ubisoft making that. That's right.
Yep. Yeah. I'm a big Division guy. Played the hell out of the first one and the second one.
Yep, I knew you were.
And then I stopped playing the second one after one of my friends got banned.
Huh.
And then they never really picked it up after that, but I put enough time into it that I was happy with it.
Why did one of your friends get banned?
Oh, he was taking advantage of a exploit using, just like you go up into a minigun and remove, and engage with it and then disengage. At the same time, you take out your weapon and it would multiply your damage by like 10, and you could keep doing it over and over again, and it would just stack on top of each other.
Okay. No, okay. I was just curious if it was anything like my ban, because I don't know why I was banned. But yeah. What else do we have? Oh, there's been some sequel speculation for Titanfall since Titanfall 2 got an update out of nowhere. And they turned the servers back on, apparently. The multiplayer servers on Titanfall 2, they turned those back on.
Top 10 single game campaign.
Titanfall 2, right?
Titanfall 2.
Yes.
Yep. Top 10 all time.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Fantastic. Single player, even. Now, the first one, the multiplayer was all I stayed with in the first one. The multiplayer was fantastic in number 1. And then number 2 comes around, and apparently the multiplayer on that was abandoned by a lot of people. But the single player completely made up for it. And it's one of the games I want to go back through, because I never actually finished it. I played enough of it to know it was really great, but I never finished that single player campaign. So, but I loved what I played of it. I don't know why I never finished it. Probably because I was playing Destiny, but I don't have that excuse, or I don't have that fallback anymore. So now I can actually play these things. What else do we have? Activision says that the Switch 2 apparently we're getting next year sometime, according to everything. It's going to at least be unveiled next year. But apparently Activision says that the power of the Switch 2 is akin to a PS4 and an Xbox One, which kind of falls in line of what Nintendo does, right? Like, we're a generation behind, but we're still in it, type of thing. Because we're not...
Yeah, that's kind of their MO.
Yeah, we're not competing.
Different audience. Yeah, they're not going after the cutting-edge gamers, and they have their entire library, so they basically can control what they want to do with it. And, it's worked fine for them.
And speaking of Nintendo, you guys, both of you see that that big Microsoft leak?
Oh, yeah. I was hoping you were going to get to that.
Yeah. Nintendo was on the list of things that Microsoft hoped they'd own one day. Wow. That's, if you're going to dream big, right?
Well, the other big thing about that leak, too, was revealed. I don't even know if it was... This should be... I don't know if this is obvious at this point, but... what is it? Elder Scrolls 6.
Exclusive to Microsoft, yes.
Yeah.
Which
is... Starfield's in the same boat right now, right?
I know, right? Was that ever in... I'm sure it was maybe, but I would say I would look at it as a 90% chance it's going to be console exclusive to Xbox, and a 10% chance that I'm completely wrong and everybody will get to play it. Because I don't understand. I can't figure where you would have a great amount of hope that just because that a company owned by Microsoft would have a game available on PlayStation. I know that it can happen, but not when you've got something that can move inventory like a new Bethesda RPG. And I say new, but you know what I mean. Either a sequel to a Bethesda RPG or a new Bethesda RPG that can move your console purchases. People buying Xboxes to play Starfield. People buying Xboxes so they can play the next Elder Scrolls. And again, this is these leaks that happen, and we're not sure where they came from, but they are totally legit. These are very old leaks. It talked about apparently we'd already be playing... I think Elder Scrolls 6 next year when that was going to come out. So, this stuff is really, really old, but it was still on the table. And I don't necessarily know that that's ever going to change. It could, but I don't know that it will by the time we do get around to the release of Elder Scrolls 6. By the way, some of the other things they were looking to buy was Warner Brothers Game and Valve.
Oof.
Right?
No dice with Valve.
Valve. Some of the games they were talking about, we talked about Starfield DLC was apparently supposed to be out fiscal year of 2022. That didn't happen. Oblivion Remaster There's an idea.
I would play that. I would play the Fallout 3 remaster too. That's also supposedly coming.
Fallout 3 remaster as well. Sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo. Dishonored 3 was on this list, which is okay. You guys are going for another Dishonored 3. That's perfectly fine if it's still
good franchise.
Yeah, if it's still by the same studio that's going to develop it, then I think it'd be
well.
great.
Just to go back to the sale thing for a sec, like I wonder, keeping these things exclusives because they own the game studios now. Mm-hmm. So would it benefit them more to have it exclusive to the Xbox, or would it benefit them more releasing it everywhere so you can have the number of movements, like the sales moved? Because they already made a deal with Activision, right, about Call of Duty being on multi-console. So it's really odd that they would say that these other games were not doing that with, because they're moving. Those are I'm looking at Steam numbers right now. I think I saw like a peak of 300,000 players. Mm-hmm. That's how many people have bought Starfield on just Steam. So add that in with Xbox and PlayStation, and you think that maybe they would benefit even more by opening it up entirely rather than, or maybe they've calculated that people who have Steam will buy it, and then people who have Xboxes will, and that will kind of make up for the PlayStation numbers. But it seems weird to me that they would want to limit themselves unless they just want to move boxes or they want to move like a new hardware somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that as well. I know that that was the example that everybody who wanted to challenge this purchase of Activision was throwing. I mean, that was Sony's big thing, is like, please don't take away Call of Duty. I don't remember them ever coming out saying like, please don't take away Elder Scrolls from us. Please don't take away Bethesda's games, RPGs that you're going to release. But nope, Call of Duty, they were up about. They were like, please don't take that. Please
right, though,
keep that going.
You're correcting me, Scott, because it was Sony that made the deal. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like the developer pleading with the big boss saying, "Hey, don't limit ourselves here." You'll see this type of, because they know the numbers, right? They can tell you exactly how many that they've sold historically across any platform. So they have that, and it's probably the biggest multiplayer game ever.
It's massive, and it moves. Whatever system gets released on, it moves those systems. If it is only available on a PS5, it's going to move PS5s. If it's only available on Series X, it's going to move Series X. It doesn't matter what system that's on; it's going to move those systems for those companies and get those sold. Although Mortal Kombat on the Switch ain't moving units, I can tell you that.
Oh no.
That is horrible. In fact, I don't think there's a class action for that, but it looks bad. The trailer for it looks bad. The actual game looks bad. It's $70 for a really ugly-looking game on the Switch, talking about Mortal Kombat 1. Ed Boon has said that they're going to fix that. Good luck. I don't know how. I don't know what kind of update you can throw out to the Switch that's going to fix... really fix it.
Switch games are $70.
That one is. I'm not saying all Switches are, but the Switch. Okay. That Mortal Kombat for the Switch is $70, and it looks horrid. So
it looks funny, like when they do the side by side. Like it doesn't even look like the same game.
No, it doesn't. And apparently, a Steam achievement popped up during the trailer or on the. I don't know what it is, but it looks like it was like a lazy port. Is what I would go with on that one. So, guys, we're coming to the end of the show here. Didn't get into everything we wanted to get into, but I really appreciate you two hanging out with me for this one, as RJ had the car trouble coming in this afternoon. So thank you, guys. Steve, go get the kids to bed or to bath or whatever you got going on, and then get back into Starfield. And Josh, you've got some Baldur's Gate to play, I'm sure. 3 different characters.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for co-op, you know where to find me.
Yes, totally. Definitely. Whenever I get around to that. I don't know. Cyberpunk still is like, hey, come play me. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks for having me.
All right, y'all. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. All right, that is going to wrap things up here. I wish RJ could be here, but he couldn't. He felt really bad about it, but I told him, no, man, fix your car. Get your car fixed and, worry about that. You got work to go to on Monday, so you take care of that part. I want to thank everybody who called in, Bilex Gambler, and also want to thank Chris for calling in, and Josh and Steve for hanging out in the chat, or in the Discord there. We really appreciate you guys listening every single week and downloading the show from iTunes or however you get our show for later use. You can go to ingamechat.net and find the show on Twitter and Facebook, and we've got groups and everything else. Here is music from Fae Farm. This is called Market Dance. We will have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday.